963. If you ever see the police force going down under 9,963 sworn, we are starting to abandon our commitment to you about our trash pool. Right? That's the number. And there's about another 2,700, in firefighters in the city of LA. So what that means is, if you take this 13,000 away from your 36,000, you get a number of 23,000, right? That are people that you're pulling from. Now, you have to take that 23,000 and remove from it all the people that are special funded, that are on federal grants, like all of CDD, which is 300 people, right? Or take out people that are paid for out of fees, so people that are going out and doing parking meters. People that are, the building inspectors are paid for primarily by fees. You take out that group of people, you're talking about minus another 10,000. So you're down to 13,000 people that are general fund and vulnerable from an economic argument. And so that 13,000 is where we have to pull these 3,000 and lay off or transfer this 1,000. So it's 4,000 of our 13,000 folks that are on the general fund that are not subsidizing their own resource. So who is that? That's where the crisis about services in the city of LA is focused, because that's our libraries, that's our parks, right? That's our, some of our tree trimming. That's a number of things that are the real bread and butter. It's not sanitation, that's separately paid for, but it's the bread and butter of what people expect from a city to deliver. And so that sets up this conversation, which is a difficult conversation to have with our labor partners. But right now, labor in LA is probably smarter, more profound than labor anywhere else in the country, because they say, hey, we survive when our interest matches the public interest. Here's going to be a challenge for labor to keep their interests matched with the public interest, which means that in this situation, they're going to be forced with, if they don't take cuts in their base salary, we're going to have a massive cut in services in Los Angeles. And that's the nature of a mutual gains conversation between labor and the city about cuts in base salary. If you had a base salary cut of 5% of all of city employees and openness to furloughs on top of it, we wouldn't have to do these 3,000 furloughs, but that's the nature of the conversation. It's a difficult conversation, and it's especially difficult because you could have one bargaining unit say, yes, that does make sense, and other bargaining units say, go to hell, right? And it's very hard for some bargaining units to take concessions when others don't. How do you keep a table together? That's the conversation that you're not going to see transportation about how do we avoid service cuts, right, in the next period of time. So let's just talk, right, 3,000 plus 1,000 out of 13,000, right? How do we address this budget? And this $325 million shortfall next year is directly tied to what percentage of those 3,000 folks get laid off. That is the city of Los Angeles budget, internal budget information as of today, right? Do we, so let's